Were they back here, or like just out on the call?
We try never to deliver in the back of an ambulance because you can see, obviously we know where babies come out, and if you're trying to stand up there and straddle a cot and do all that and drive down the road, guess what? Babies are slick. And now we're wearing rubber gloves.
Right.
So we try to, if we deliver kids, we try to do it in an environment, probably the home or wherever we're at that point. So I know we've done one in the back parking lot before. I've done several. Bathrooms are the biggest places, I guess, because that urge to push. But I will tell you the best one, and I didn't deliver this one, but the best one was I showed up at a house and on an imminent delivery. We get to the house and there's this female mopping the kitchen floor, and we're like, hey, where's the patient and the baby? And she goes, well, I'm the patient and the baby's in the back, and she's already cleaning up, and I'm like, oh my God. But
that is crazy.
Yeah, so typically we'll transport mom and baby together unless there's critical issues with the baby, and then we'll transport them separately because we'll probably be taking them to like a children's and the mom to another hospital. But yeah, we deliver kids. We've done it all. It's honest to gosh, as Mr. Smith said, he asked, what's the craziest thing we ran? If you can imagine it, we probably ran some variable of it. So people do strange things, and we're the ones that get called. So
do we have 2 ambulances in all of Liberty?
So
or
we staff 3 on a daily basis.
In all of Liberty?
In all of Liberty.
Okay.
We have 4, but we only staff 3. The 4th is just in case we're doing preventive maintenance or repairs on the others.
One's down or something.
Or if we have an ice event coming, then we're staffing additional units.
Gotcha.
So that is the focus this week. We have potential for ice this week, starting tomorrow. So please stay off the road, please.
Yeah. That's cool.
So the last ice storm or incident that we had a couple weeks back, we ended up running 17 or 18 accident with injuries, but PD ran a crap ton more than we did because they were non-injury accidents.
Yeah.
So, any other questions of stuff you see back here?
It's neat. It gives you a different perspective. Cool.
Very much so. Everything's going to technology. We do all of our reports on computers now. Bedside, we're looking at different systems for that to how do you operate and do a report with your thumb, since that's how we all operate now on our texting and stuff.
Can you do like the Cerner offering? Now
Cerner does not do pre-hospital.
Okay.
No, and I've brought that up to them a couple times just because they're the leader in the world.
Right.
But they do not do pre-hospital
It'd be cool
technology.
if you get to a spot where you just did a quick little retinal scan of a patient, and then or something, and then all of a sudden
the new programs, we can scan driver's license, do that type of stuff. But at the end of the day, the reason we have to collect all that information is for the billing side of it. This is not free. For every ambulance your taxes pay for us to be here. They pay for the vehicles and equipment and so forth and so on. But when we do transport a patient, we do bill them. The average bill is anywhere between, depending on severity, between $850 and probably $1,200 for a transport. Now, the unique thing about our service here is if you call us to your house and we don't transport you, no matter what we do at your house, it is part of your tax. We're not charging you anything for that. The only thing you get charged for is if we do transport.
How about the medicine?
Do we charge for the medicines we use? We have taken a path of just charging one flat rate. The only thing we charge additionally for is oxygen, and oxygen's $85, and there's another $75, I think, loose equipment fee.
And that would go, that goes directly to your insurance then? Or
so we definitely bill insurances first, and then anything that comes back is obviously the responsibility of the patient, which is just like if you went to a doctor's office, your insurance is going to pay, and you're going to have some sort of copay. So, and every insurance is different.
Yeah, right.
It's like a total bill, because someone in my family, they have like a $900.
Yeah, $850 to $1,200 is pretty standard. We've got some organizations around us that charge $1,400 and $1,500, but with that being said, our average collections that we get from each call is about $450, because insurance has write-offs, Medicare and Medicaid has write-offs, individuals without insurance. So we, on average, collect about half of what we actually bill. It's our cost figures from our expenses. To staff 3 ambulances 24 hours a day costs us about $2.4 million a year. We recover about 1.1.
And the rest is made up in just
taxes.
Yeah.
So we only recover between 50 and 60% of the cost of running the service. It's not one that you want to get in to make a lot of money. There is some private ambulance organizations. They focus a lot on the non-emergency stuff, and because they're guaranteed payment, and they don't. Their personnel aren't responsible for fire service and all that, so they don't tend to pay them as much.
They still have the same number like 911.
Non-emergency does not. No, those are typically different, just 5-digit or 9-digit numbers, like you call them now, or 8-digit.
Gotcha.
Average salary in the metro is anywhere between 36 and 42,000 starting out, and then depending on the department, it grows from there.
How about veterans? What do veterans get?
What do veterans get? The veterans, we are required by federal law to give them preferential points through the hiring process. So it depends if you're if you were a veteran that served overseas, if you're related to a veteran, if you've experienced. There's different points that we're required to give during the application process.
Someone, do you mean just somebody that's been doing it a long time?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you meant
No,
veterans
you're
in the
good,
military.
you're good. Same thing.
Veterans, it depends on the organization. So our pay raises are based on what is available in funds. This year we got a 3% pay raise, which is not nearly a cost of living.
Yeah.
And that's been our high pay raises since about 2002. This 3% is high. Other organizations have what you call step plans. So at year 6 you're going to make X amount minimum. So it just depends on what your available funding is.
And is your guys' pension state of Missouri? Is it Missouri?
Our pension is called Loggers, which is a local government retirement system.
Gotcha.
And it is a Missouri system, but it's for governmental entities.
Gotcha.
So we pay 4% of our salary into our retirement. In return, after 5 years, you're now vested in that retirement system. And the retirement is, our multiplier that we use is 2% times your years of service, based on the average of your last 5 years of your salary. So if you're making $50,000 for your last 5 years, that's your average. If you've been here 25 years, times 2% is 50%. So you get 50% of 50,000, which is 25 for the rest of your life.
Gotcha.
Now, if you're married and you choose to put your spouse onto that plan, then depending on ages and stuff, so forth and so on, then you'll take a reduction in that pay during that time, and then if you pass away, your spouse would still get X amount after you die.
Gotcha.
But it all costs money, so they subtract up front to pay at the end.
Yeah.
So it's not, if you want to get rich, it's definitely not the job, but if you want a lot of personal satisfaction, get to hang out with your friends and do some pretty neat things, it's definitely something that I'd look into.
I'll stop asking questions. In a
No,
minute.
go for it.
So do you guys?
They're just staring at me.
I know. Are you guys 24 on, 24 off?
We are 24 on, 48 off, so 1 day on, 2 days off.
Gotcha.
I work Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, and then have a radio, cell phone, and everything else attached to me the rest of the time.
So technically, I mean, you could do something else in those 2 days.
Very much so. We've got guys that do construction, we got guys that do lawn care, we have guys that do...
Bartending.
We do have some of those too. Homeowners, home inspections.
Yeah.
We could build a house with our contractors we have here. We've got some that do commercial construction. You'll see a lot of that. Building trades is something very common that you'll see.
Which is so it's probably one of the few jobs that you could actually do, get a little bit of pension,
Have supplemental income to another job.
and then also have a whole nother job that you do on the side, which is kind of cool.
We've had people that were nurses that did that on the side because the PRN money for nurses is better than full-time money, so they do that. I mean, it just varies. You can do whatever you want because you got to remember 2/3 of your month or 21 days of your month are available. So I would encourage you to be home with your family, but most of us tend to work because the more money we make, the more we spend, and you got to continue the path.
And what are these auto charge cables over here? Like what are they?
Like right that are
That
hooked
are
in
plugged
right
into the vehicle?
Yeah.
Battery conditioners. It's keeping things charged and it's providing 110 power to the vehicle for the loose equipment that needs charged. There's 2 on this one. One of them is for an auxiliary heating and cooling unit. So if it's really hot outside in the bay, there's no air conditioner in the apparatus bay, it's just heat. So in the winter, we don't tend to run anything because the radiant heat that we have keeps everything equipment-wise warm. But in the summer, when it's 120 degrees in here, we plug into the side and it turns on an air conditioner and keeps it about 70, 75 degrees.
So
back
charging that, actually, that's the that's the output, and everything else that needs to run a charge is synced to that.
Yes.
It's pretty slick.
Yeah, and this has that as well, but it has the additional plug-in for the auxiliary heating and cooling unit.
Gotcha.
So we're looking, that has not been the most successful thing on this ambulance, and so we're looking at different ways to do that.
Gotcha.
But we have to keep the medicines regulated for temperature so we can ensure that nothing breaks down in them. And all of our medicines are lined up back there. You can see them. Most of them are cardiac related. Narcotics are locked up in a secured system there. Medicines.
That's right.
You gonna take one?
I know.
So
Box sticking out of your pocket, Solomon?
Well, we push that back in.
so
That's cool. So, any other questions, guys?
you guys want to see? Let's see. It's 2 o'clock. So I
Is
don't
it
know how
really
much
2?
time you guys have. It's 2 o'clock.
Somebody needs to check outside and see if the bus is here yet. Bus will probably be here between 2 and 2:15.
She said it was 2:15 when she dropped us off.
Yeah, we need to see the
Can you
whole
go
fire
check this out
truck.
the fire
Let's go
truck?
check out the old fire truck.
Okay.
It's kind of cold for that.
Hey Smith,
What's that?
is there any shots you want us to get before
You
we?
guys are good.
And it's
So
probably
suicide, drugs, domestic abuse.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely, obviously, police responds to more domestic
Yeah, I guess
situations than
that's
we
true.
do, but we stand by for a lot of them. So if there's a domestic issue at your house and the police are there, most likely we're sitting a couple blocks away. And if they get there and they see completely different than it was even 3 or 4 years ago, for the first time in my career, we've contemplated putting ballistic vests on all of our vehicles for our personnel. Do we think something like that's going to happen in Liberty?
You guys know what he means by that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Concept-wise, where we're going, you'll notice as you look down the side of the ambulance, there's multiple smaller compartments. We're looking at doing away with the amount of resources to keep them safe, that we have to consider those things as options for us as we move forward. So it's definitely different times. You know, we run many calls, and the thing that I have to take into consideration of, do we put our personnel in ballistic vest is, now are we seen as someone that's there to help you, or do we see someone there that's in the defensive mode?
Right.
Have to protect our personnel, but we also have to provide our customers with the feeling that we are there to help. And
Right.
no matter what we're wearing, we are there to help. But it definitely
Right.
changes the environment. It changes the perception of everybody around us. We don't want to look like cops. I mean, cops are our brothers and sisters. I mean, we're in public safety together, but we don't do their job. You know, we don't carry guns. A lot of fire departments are starting to carry guns.
Yeah.
You know, is that smart? You know, you only know when you need it if it's smart.
Right.
The rest of the time it's a hindrance and a liability.
Right.
So lots of things to consider, and we're looking at all of the social issues to determine what is best for us.
What did you guys go over when you were in there, like firefighter programs? Like, how long are those programs? Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I bored them to death with the history of how I became the fire chief in Liberty.
Gotcha.
Do you, are there any other situations where you have to do like emergency surgery? 'Cause I'm just looking at these cabinets. One thing, like I guess I looked at it really, is CPAP. I confused it for crap, and I just
Yeah, no, a CPAP, if you've ever heard of sleep apnea,
yeah.
people that have to put machines on to assist them in breathing at night, that's what that is. So that's more non-invasive than us providing certain medicines, and tends to have a better response to individuals that are having difficulty breathing. So it's just providing in ours. So I'd say probably of our ambulance calls, we're probably around the 10%
So 1
mark.
out of 10, something
Yeah.
like that. From an adult perspective, I'm sitting here thinking, man, how you handle stress. You know what I mean? As an EMT, as a worker, as somebody, you know, to just be able to flip on, like, okay, I'm on, and I've got to know exactly what to do. It's pretty amazing.
It's
You know?
It's a very challenging job, but it's very rewarding at times, and it's completely not rewarding
Yeah,
at other
right.
times. And you know, from my standpoint, no matter what you believe in your lives, obviously I believe there's a higher power than me, so I do everything that I can to do it, and then, you know, ultimate decisions are left up to others. But yeah, there's times where everything you do and none of it works. There's times when minutes out. They work a 24-hour shift. They start at 7 a.m. in the morning. They work till 7 a.m. the next morning. The positive thing about that schedule is they work 9 days a month. The negative thing about that schedule is they miss a third of what goes on.
Brett, you want to go on 20 miles, 3.6.
Chassis, there'll be a window about this big and that's it.
Yeah,
So you'll see a
you
lot.
can't get from, so it'd be hard to get
No,
to the back
and
of the
most
front.
people aren't getting from there now.
Yeah,
I would say 99% of the people don't go through that spot.
Right.
But you'll see in the company that provides us our CAD, which is computer aided dispatching, that dispatches the units. We're working with them to how do we link all that together. Many organizations around us do use GPS to dispatch the closest unit. We're not there yet. Once again, it's money. But yes, that's something great. Feel free to jump in, look around. You get a better idea of what equipment it is. Third spot up to you. We have to have the ability to transport 2 patients. So obviously the cot is one of them. That's why the bench seat's been the bench seat for so long. But now there's chairs that are single. Anybody have any questions on this? And I will provide with the box that we'll provide to work with, it will be the true dimensions on the inside. And from there it's imagination. Oh, very much so. Yeah.
couple of things that, like, if you were going to redesign this from the scratch, what are the things?
But those are concepts we come up with them.
How do you make that?
Here because, we're trying to think outside the box, but we're so used to operating the way we have for, 20 plus years we've been doing it, that we tend to get tunnel. Where the paramedics sit, so forth and so on. Those are variables that you can work with through this process. We communicate with the hospital. We do that via the radio, or also we communicate with the hospital. We do that via the radio, or also you will find some of these ideas out there. I highly encourage you to use the internet and start searching through those processes to find what other people are doing. That's the same thing we're doing. Like I mentioned when this started, the reason this excites me is we tend to focus in and look at things the way we look at them because we live in this world every day. I'm very, very excited to see what you guys grab and find that's going to be more important, that could be more important to us and something we're missing just because we're not looking through the same eyes that you guys are. So that's going to be a very, very exciting thing for us. And I'm very hoping as we move in a parallel path that an ambulance design that provides for increased safety for the attending paramedic in the back of that ambulance. And what I mean by that is currently today you'll see that we have a bench seat. They slide around on it. They don't put a seatbelt on. They treat the patient. They do their job. The requirement that I put on them is they need to find a single seat function that a attending paramedic can sit down in with a seatbelt on during the entire transport. It's not the easiest thing to do. There are several things that we're working through. How do you do chest compressions on a patient that doesn't have a heartbeat? You can't do that sitting down. You have to be standing up. But there is equipment out there that we can buy that can do it for us now. So if we can utilize equipment and technology to handle those situations, then that ensures that the paramedic is sitting in that seat with that seatbelt on. So